Thank you, Neil.
In the meantime, can we expect more shaming at Trump fundraisers to escalate as we head into 2020? And could that potentially backfire on Democrats, especially if it doesn't go the other way? Jenna Ellis is a member of the Trump 2020 Advisory Board. Also with us, Democratic strategist Max Burns. Max, do you think that this is the proper route to go? In other words, if you don't like the politics of the CEO or his or her, allegiances, you don't frequent their company?
Yeah, this is an American tradition. I mean, in a country where the Supreme Court has said, for better or worse, that money is political speech, how we spend our money is, for a lot of people, the most significant political act they engage in day to day. And what you see with these protests across the country is people saying, we love Equinox, we love spin class, but if it's supporting and enabling President Trump and his disastrous policies, we'll go down the street to a competitor and go there.
But I don't remember a lot of conservatives during the Obama administration boycotting companies or Hollywood companies that put out movies they didn't like or the slant they had that they didn't like. I just don't remember anything like that. So should you live and let live? Or is this the rationale going forward? Just boycott the company because we don't like what the heads of that company are doing.
Well, it's unfortunate you don't remember, because I certainly do, that President Trump boycotting and calling for boycotts in 2014 and 2015 of Nike, NBC, Macy's, Univision, the entire country of Mexico. The president has had over 30 calls on Twitter and on TV to boycott companies he doesn't like. So I think,
no, but this was based on just a single U.S. president or support for a president. Do you think that that's a good strategy? You obviously do.
I do, and Antonin Scalia would agree. He said that if you are not able to stand for your political acts in public, that saps the country of the civic courage that informs democracy.
All right, fair enough. I just don't want to go too far afield here. Jenna Ellis, when you hear that sort of thing, do you agree with that you have free reign? This is an American right. You don't like something, you can boycott, you can do all of that. And that, Republicans themselves just exercised it in the Mitch McConnell situation, where Twitter took down his site because he simply showed a video of people threatening him. So they were threatening a boycott. They were threatening not doing business and getting their social media message on alternatives. So what do you think?
Yeah, well, Neil, I certainly agree that Americans have the right to spend money any way that they choose. And if they choose to boycott a company for whatever reason, I mean, even if it's just that they simply don't like the product, of course, that's their right to exercise that however they want to. However, I don't think that this is a good idea to not draw the distinction between looking at a company for what its policies are and actually what its product is. So, for example, if you're going to boycott Planned Parenthood because you don't like the fact that their entire purpose is to have abortions, that's a very different reason than saying we are going to try to suppress political speech through our financial actions. And I certainly don't agree that this is a good strategy moving forward to say, hey, let's take down a company simply because of the private beliefs of investors or the people that work for that company. I mean, what if you did that for someone, for some company that just because its employee happens to have a sign in their yard that says "Go Trump," and then suddenly the company is going to try and suppress the individual's political speech based on the fact that they work for the company. I mean, where does this end?
But what I'm worried about on both the left and the right, and Max, I'll try to get this from you here, we go too far. Like, there are a lot of people who, for example, and Max, you can respond to this, who might not like Ben and Jerry's politics, but I don't know about you, but it would take an act of God for them to pull away a pint of chunky monkey from me. So what I'm saying is, do we go too far with this?
No, no one is going into Ross's office and saying you have to close Equinox, you have to get rid of your stake. He's completely able to host his fundraisers.
Yeah, but who is he hurting, though? Who are they hurting then, Max? In this case, it might be the people who work at Equinox or SoulCycle or any host of others who, because of that protest, and if it were to grow, and you're right, it's still too early, we don't know, they're the ones whose jobs are lost, not the billionaire investor.
Yeah, you just described a civic pressure campaign. This is the same strategy Fox News is using in boycotting Twitter since April. is the exact same
Well,
approach
would you
that
apply the
regular
same
people are
standard
using.
if, let's say, an anchor at let's say, MSNBC versus an anchor at Fox is targeted for boycott because something he or she said on the show or a guest said on the show offended people, that those boycotts are all well and good?
I do, and I expect to see the same thing on the
All
other
right,
side
Jenna,
from
fair and
conservatives.
balanced to you. Do you think that's a sharp strategy? My view on this, right or left, you can go too far. You don't like it, you can always turn off the channel. In that case, you don't like it. You yourself cannot frequent that establishment if you're strong about it. But otherwise, to target economic harm because you don't like something, I just think is right or left going a step too far. What do you think?
I do too, and I think that if you're targeting economic harm for the intention of suppressing political speech, that's much more dangerous than saying, just because I personally, like for Tucker Carlson, was personally doxxed, and that's a completely different situation. And when you have someone like Castro who's saying, I am going to now put the investors and the donors to President Trump out in the marketplace, and I'm going to put that out in the public for the intentional purpose of telling people, think twice before you support this political candidate, that is absolutely going a step too far.
But there
This
was
isn't
a
just
double
about
standard there, right, Jenna? Because you supported the move against Twitter.
Well, so it's not a double standard when you say that because of the doxing itself, that is something that is harmful. That's not saying, that's trying to suppress political speech, and so you're saying I'm going to not support that action.
Right.
But then saying that you can then go and intentionally target someone economically just to support their, or rather to suppress their political speech, that's absolutely unconscionable in this country, and I don't think that we should go down that direction at all.
Fair enough, guys. Fair enough. I just think we ought to just bring the rhetoric and the heat down just a little bit. All right. Thank you both very, very much. Meanwhile, the president's